Aloha and good morning or, maybe afternoon for some people. I am Tina Marie Gamble. I'm one of the moderators for the Moms in Real Estate Facebook group. And today we have a very, very special guest. Today, Sarah Hardwick is going to be going over a masterclass, Relationships That Refer, how top real estate moms build businesses through connection. Today, Sarah is going to be giving away all her tips and tricks. She's got a lot of goodies in here for you. And we're actually also going to be doing a giveaway. So in order to enter the giveaway throughout this live masterclass, you're going to comment anything. That could be like, this is gold, I can't wait to do this, or this is on fire, whatever it may be. Let's hype Sarah up along the way. But we're going to go through, and everybody that left a comment at the end, you're going to be entered in a chance to win a Bloom blanket. It's going to be gifted to 2 different winners. This is from Sackcloth and Ashes Exchange Agents. So this is a great giveaway. Today, Sarah's going to be diving into forgetting cold calls, forgetting ads, and the endless grind. The most powerful growth strategy in real estate is and always will be relationships. And we all know that, right? So in this masterclass, just a little reminder, you're going to be learning how to build a simple, sustainable referral system, identify the key relationships that fuel your business, show up in ways that truly cut through the noise, and turn your network into a consistent stream of referrals without sacrificing that precious mama time. All right, without further ado, Sarah, go ahead and take the wheel.
Thank you so much for that amazing introduction about what we're going to speak of today. And although the giveaway that's being presented today is not from Giftology, I heard you say it's from an exchange real estate team, which is amazing. It sounds like it is a gift. So it seems pretty fitting that that was in the beginning of today. It is such an honor to be on with you guys today. While, just so you know, I can't see you, I hope you can see me and my screen and Tina here. Tina, by the way, as much as I'm going to go through these slides, if you see any comments or you have a question that pops up for yourself, please chime in. Anything that you can bring from your specific background and industry background into today as we talk about relationships that refer, I think is going to be so, so powerful.
I just want to say, sorry, Sarah, speaking of, we do want to hold all questions to the end so that way you can actually give your full presentation. So I will be monitoring all the questions, and we'll have some time for Q&A at the end. So just so y'all are all tracking as well, I'm watching your questions, and we'll be asking Sarah at the end because we want to make sure we have full attention on her presentation.
Perfect. Then you guys got to spend like 45 minutes with me, and then we'll leave the last 15 minutes for Q&A, which is just how I like it. I joke sometimes that I'm from New Jersey, so I can talk all day long. And if there's any New Jersey real estate agents in the chat, would love to see that. But how I'll get us started today is actually proving to you why you should listen to me for the next 40 minutes. Tina already did a great job. It seems like you guys all understand the power of relationships, the power of referrals. But there's some statistics that really back this up that we love to share. McKinsey has done research around word of mouth advertising and shows that word of mouth drives more than twice the sales of paid channels. So I'm sure there's some paid advertising or paid lead generation that some of you agents do that may be providing fruit, but word of mouth is always going to drive more than twice the sales of paid channels. McKinsey also reports that word of mouth is the primary decision factor in 20 to 50% of purchases, which I think none of us would argue by any means. And honestly, I think a lot of realtors and consultants in these high trust industries that I speak to, they would think it's really closer to like 80 to 100% of purchases, right? Like we are so influenced by trust that is transferred through relationships. Another stat for you guys, 88% of buyers trust recommendations from people they know. 88%. And I love to put this up as a dichotomy. Want to know how many buyers trust traditional advertising? 39%. So there is so much value in investing in our relationships that can provide us recommendations, because that is a marketing channel that provides more for us. And just another layer here, let's see. Oh, I didn't have it on this slide, but I'll just tell you guys. Many service professionals, the people that you guys are targeting and serving, trust in traditional advertising drops to 34% in those age 35 to 54 and below 14% for those over 55. So if you're serving those groups, unfortunately, it gets even worse. Here's a good stat for you guys, though, that I just absolutely love. Harvard Business Review reports that customers acquired through a referral are more likely to generate their own referrals, leading to what they call a referral contagion, which is just such a cool term, and bringing in 30 to 57% more new customers than competing acquisition methods. One partner can start this all for you with just one step in the right direction of building a network, building relationships that refer. And that's what we're gonna dive into today. Tina, you already did a great job introducing me, so I'm not gonna go on that tangent like I usually do, but I do want to promise everybody 3 things. We're gonna learn the 3 dimensions of relationships that refer. A lot of people think that referral partners or someone who has the power to refer you could just be anyone who has a mouth, right? Anybody who could speak your name. That's not true. And we'll lean into that a little bit more and why. Then we'll take 3 steps to actually build these better referral partnerships together. I cannot believe we're already in November, coming up on the end of the year. I'm sure a lot of you guys are doing some 2026 planning, and I want this to create some momentum for you today. And then I also want you to leave today with 3 names. Ultimately, if we're going to be focusing on investing in relationships, I want you to identify a couple of those relationships that you're going to take action with after this call. Sound good? Awesome. What is a referral partner? I kind of already gave some hints. It's not everybody with a mouth that can just refer you, but here's what Google's little AI overview feature tells us. That referral partners are individuals or companies who recommend your business's products or services to their own network in exchange for commission or other benefit, which is not blatantly wrong, but in our eyes, it's not perfectly right, or at least it doesn't highlight the possibilities that actually exist when you build the kind of referral partnerships that we're going to talk about today. I'll pull up our definition here. And I'd love for people to also think about your definition of a referral partner in your world, in your team, in your network of people. Here's our definition. A referral partner is somebody who actively introduces you to people who are pre-qualified, pre-sold, and most of the time a perfect fit. They work on your behalf to create opportunities for your business, not because they are paid to, but because they can, are willing, and want to be. That's what a relationship that refers is. It is a people who can, are willing, and want to refer you. I'll go back one slide here because I just want to lay into this point right here. Google says that always commission or other benefit is tied to a referral partnership. And especially in the real estate world, there are going to be a lot of referral partnerships that you build where this is a possibility. There can be a commission, a percentage, some sort of financial value to building partnership. But we joke that cannot be the first step. Ultimately, you wouldn't go on a first date with somebody and then sign a prenup, right? We need to date them a little bit first. We need to see their intentions. We need to build partnership. And then if it gets to that point, we can engage in some of that financial conversation. But we really want to focus on people who can, are willing, and want to refer you, and not just encourage them with a financial incentive. So first of all, can. And by the way, guys, I want today to feel like a self-diagnosis as well of your current referral network. As I go through these, as these are the 3 things that make up your network and people that refer, Ask yourself, do you feel like you have a network that is full of people who can, willing, and want? Keyword is and. We want all three of those. So this first dimension here, can. We believe that someone can refer you if they touch your customer. So not everyone who can fog a glass or everyone with a LinkedIn can refer you. Not everyone is a good referral partner. But on the other end of the spectrum, if your referral partner list is made up of only past clients, you are thinking too small. You are likely holding close to a limiting belief that someone needs to have worked with you to understand the value or service you provide. And well, that is not true. The key is all about identifying shoulder industry partners, and we'll actually start to build out your shoulder industry list in step 1 of identify today. In terms of this self-diagnosis today, guys, if you are feeling like right now you are just not busy enough, if lead flow or volume is down or maybe even non-existent, you're new to the industry, this is the dimension you need to focus on in this very moment, building out that potential list of referral partners who can refer you. And we'll go ahead and help you identify those today. Part 2 of the people that can refer you, they need to be willing. If someone is willing to refer you, we see it as a mechanism of they know how to talk about you. I get a lot of pushback on this one because how do those two things correlate? Someone's willingness to refer me is based on their ability to talk about me. And yes, we wholeheartedly believe it. And this is why, because people don't want to feel or look stupid. It's as simple as that. If they can't simply repeat what you do with 5th grade clarity, well, they just simply aren't going to talk about you. We have a member of our program, a consultant of sorts, who does some pretty intense business stuff, way over my head, something I would never feel confident or comfortable describing the nitty-gritty of, until she told me, you know that show Love It or List It? I help business owners get to a point of loving their business again or listing it for a profitable exit. And that's when the light bulb went off for me as a referral partner. Now, I know a lot of people are probably sitting here because this is a real estate specific masterclass that everybody understands what a real estate agent does. I'll challenge that. They don't know what you do. They don't know what you bring to the table. They aren't extremely clear on your value proposition and who you serve and what is your niche that they can then repeat to their network. And we'll dive into that today. But my next thing here as well, I talked about this. If they can't describe you, they won't talk about you. Referrals are a game of telephone. That's what we believe. That telephone game that everyone used to play in elementary school, right? If the message gets messed up at the beginning and it trickles down through somebody's network, chances are they're not going to have the right message by the end. So we need to have extreme clarity to be able to equip our partners. And this is what this second step is going to be, equipping our partners with our big 4, which we'll lean into. It's a super easy framework that allows you to pass your message on with clarity in some of these referral conversations that we're going to have you guys dive into after today. Okay. Step 1, identify. Step 2, equip. Step 3 that we're going to dive into is energize, because here's what we believe. People want to refer you when they are consistently energized by you and when you are top of mind. It's a common misconception that people want to refer you just because they like you. But unfortunately, that's not enough. People like a lot of things, a lot of products, a lot of services, a lot of businesses. And I'm sure, as you guys all have experienced with the saturation of the real estate industry, I'm sure they also know and like a lot of different real estate agents in their search circle. We need to determine what makes you and your business stand out among the rest in a relational capacity. Why would they focus their time, energy, and attention telling other people about you? And here's one reason why. People help those who help them. The law of reciprocity is real, and not to nerd out on everyone here, but it's actually entirely neurochemical. There's actually studies that show connecting meaningfully is a cocktail of dopamine, oxytocin, and flashbulb memory, which bonds us biologically to someone. And then logic, when it comes to make a purchase decision, when it comes to sit down and sell their house, kind of gets thrown by the wayside. They want to work with someone who has energized them in this neurochemical relational way. Now, some people say, does this sound like a give to get strategy? And I wish I could just, if anyone is having that feeling, shake you and say, absolutely not. Our referral system that we teach and implement stays far, far away from any of this do this, get that transactional referral programs, because we believe that good referrals come from enthusiasm, not obligation. So if you're a seasoned professional with us today, maybe you've had your real estate business for a while, and at one point you had pretty good, consistent, exciting referral traffic, but over the years it's dwindled and maybe now to a concerning point. You probably need to better energize your relationships and make sure that you keep up with them consistently this time. You need a system to do so, and that's what we'll go into in step 3 of Energize. So I'm at about the 16-minute mark here. I've laid out the key pieces of your guys's referral network, those relationships that refer. So hopefully I'm keeping one promise thus far. But we're going to go ahead and dive into the 3 steps that I have for you guys today to actually build up these relationships that refer, this referring network of yours. Identify who can refer us, equip them so that they are willing, and energize the relationships so they want to refer you, and like run through a brick wall for you. That's the type of energy we want in your business. So step 1, guys, I want you to build your list out today, right now. As I started talking about referrals, your referral network, relationships, you've probably had some people already start floating around in your head. And I mentioned before, there may be some past clients who could be or are good referral partners for you. But today I want you to identify 3 shoulder industry relationships that have the potential to refer you. If you haven't already heard me talk about shoulder industries before, shoulder industries are people who serve your ideal customer but don't compete. And they are the secret to building out your unbeatable referral network. So I want you guys to write 3 names down. We do have a fancy spreadsheet for this and all that stuff that I would be willing to share with you guys at another time. But today, a pen and paper is all that you need. Other than your brain and your CRM, we just want you to start thinking through these shoulder industry partners. We do have a sophisticated way of doing this using AI. We have a shoulder industry AI bot that's pretty awesome in helping you think of some creative shoulder industry partners. But I'll actually share a story for you guys as you write some names down of a real estate agent that we have in our program. He was looking to break into the luxury market. He'd already been selling his ideal number of homes a year. And his goal for growth wasn't to sell more houses. It was higher value homes so he could bring in significantly higher revenue with the same amount of transactions, which is something I'm sure all of you guys can relate to. We ended up strategizing with him, used our shoulder industry bot, used this spreadsheet that you show up here, and finding that a good referral partner for him would be a high-end luxury golf course manager. Because in his affluent area, as I'm sure many of you guys are in, many people actually get on country club wait lists or take tours of country clubs before they even move or find a home. I grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I know this is the case for a fact. My dad actually moved to Charlotte before my family moved to Charlotte, and he joined a golf course before we even had a house to live in, right? So these are the types of unique shoulder industry partners that I want you guys to be thinking of and building relationships with in 2026. Past clients are great. The people in your immediate circle is great. But I want you to have a list of shoulder industry partners that you can dive into next year. I mentioned the golf course manager. Another one for real estate agents that we see a lot of people come to potentially is a divorce attorney, right? Many clients need new living situations at this time. So I have some other ones up there for other industries, but I know we're real estate specific today. Start thinking about those industries that you want to build relationships with. And if you are having a hard time building out that list, please let me know. Let's definitely get to it at the end of this session and brainstorm together. Awesome. Okay. I'm going to jump over that today. We've gotten the 3 ways of your relationships that refer. We now have hopefully an opportunity to give you some 3 names of referral relationships that you can dive into in 2026. But now step 2 is equip. We have a whole process of how to do this. But ultimately, this is the key that we find every service professional needs to be able to speak with clarity. It's called our Big 4. And here's what it outlines: what you do, who you serve, what you don't do, and who you don't serve. I'm sure everyone is sitting here like, obviously, I need to know those things. I run a business. But a lot of times we spend so much time focusing on what would this look like on a brochure? What would this look like on my business card? What would this look like on a website? And we don't spend enough time on, if someone asked me what I did in a networking room, would I have a tight, clear way of explaining so that they can refer me business and they can regurgitate it to their network? So would really encourage you guys to think through this. 5th grade language, no industry colloquial, so no fancy real estate terms. We want anybody and everybody to be able to understand this. I'll go ahead and pull up our Big 4 here so you can see purely how short it is. That's what I want you to take away from this. Here's what we do. I support business priorities with relationship strategies. Who we serve: small business owners, service professionals, and solopreneurs in referral-based industries. So I hope from that, you can tell I serve you. What you don't do: we don't just send gifts. And I hope I'm proving to that today, as much as, yes, we're Giftology and we're a gifting company and all the things. We don't just send gifts. And when we do, we don't send logoed swag. And who you don't serve: pretty simple, selfish takers. If anybody wants a book recommendation from me heading into 2026, I obviously would recommend Giftology, our book. But another great book is Give and Take by Adam Grant. The fact that there's givers, matchers, and takers in the world, especially in the marketplace. I'll let you in on the basis of the book. Givers always win. Matchers and takers always lose. So we like to work with givers here at Giftology. And I'm sure many of you guys on the call here today are that. So that's our Big 4. I want you guys to focus on writing out your Big 4 in a simple, again, non-industry colloquial way. I pull up this example all the time because I just think it speaks to where you can get with refining your Big 4. We have a financial professional in our program. And when I asked him what he did in just normal conversation, I mean, still to this day, I cannot explain to you what he did. All I remember is that he used the word DAF. And I remember hearing the word DAF and absolutely thinking, what is that? Does he think I know what that is? Anyways, as we kept working on his Big 4, I did learn that DAF meant donor advised fund. Again, still an industry colloquial that wasn't going to help me refer him business, but we got to a much better place. And this is where he landed with what I do. I empower families and business owners with a heart for generosity to maximize their giving with creative strategies to shift tax dollars to the causes they are most passionate about. So no DAF in there. I would highly encourage you guys to start picking out some of those key values in your business and making those extremely pertinent to how people refer you and how they can speak of you. Okay. Big fours think this is great. I'll say this. Most people focus a lot of time here and not enough time here, especially as you're planning in 2026. Be honest with yourself, what you don't do and who you don't serve. We cannot serve everybody. And it's not helpful to referral partners to try to connect these pieces for everybody. Give them a target. We want them to be able to refer you clearly and concisely. And this is how we do it here. Awesome. Okay. Building out that big four, I'm going to go ahead and jump in to this next section here of energize, because I think this is what's going to be the most fun for everybody. This is kind of what I spoke a little bit on last week in the morning show as well, about how you energize your relationships in a way that's going to keep you top of mind and have them want to refer you business. So let's dive into this here today. This is so popular in the real estate industry, so I decided to put this one first. Send a handwritten note, send a video, send a book. These are all things I'm sure you guys are told to do quite frequently, but here's me again telling you to do it. If handwritten notes aren't your style, I would highly recommend sending videos. Here's proof that I do this all of the time. And actually, I was talking to Kristen last week about how I sent her a video, and she was like, I didn't get a chance to watch it. And I was like, it's okay. I think I was sending a video, honestly, about how I forgot to reply to an email to you. So it's just a fun way to show up. It's a fun way to build relationship. Voice memos as well. Awesome. And you'll see me over here. I don't, over here, I look a little nicer. Over here, no makeup on, no shame in this. Be real, be relational, and send videos to those individuals. Now, another way you can energize relationships, especially when you're building relationships with those shoulder industry partners, is send them a referral, right? Give them a referral, send them a recommendation. And it doesn't always have to be this two-way street of income producing referrals of clients. They could say in a meeting to you, right? Oh my goodness, my husband and I have been trying to go out to dinner in this place forever, but we just haven't had a time to step away. Refer them your babysitter, right? You can refer and recommend people outside of your professional realm. And there's a really, really powerful way to do it. I'll start with the not so powerful way. The most painful way of getting a referral or notice of a referral is when someone says, hey, Susie, I told them all about you, right? I told this person all about you. I told them to reach out. And you're like, oh my gosh, no, I want you to grab that person by the collar and drag them over to me so I have the opportunity to have a conversation. If we don't tee our referral partners up to do that, to speak so highly about us, to be equipped to refer us well, then they ultimately just kind of dangle out those opportunities, pass out your business card, and that referral life cycle doesn't come full circle. So here's what I recommend to set the tone. You can tell your referral partners to potentially do this, or also you start this. Master the three-way introduction. If this is something you want to dive into in 2026, here's where you should land. Pick two people you want to introduce, say nice things, give a reason, suggest the next step, and press send. And bonus points if you're able to do that in video. So I have our late founder up here, John Rulin, who this was absolutely his specialty. Everyone loved him for this. But these are real text messages between us and a third party of him introducing me. And let me tell you, the way that you are able to edify somebody on video is incredible. And they will hopefully do that the same in both public and in private. I wish I could see the chat, Tina, because I'm interested to see how many people actually use video. I know handwritten notes are popular in the real estate space, but I'm interested to see if there's anybody who's sending some videos out.
I don't see anybody that's actually saying they're sending videos. Some people do some handwritten cards, but I'm not seeing any videos. So this is pure gold right here. This is so, so great.
Awesome. Well, hopefully this was the encouragement that everybody needed. I'll also throw in that sometimes as you're getting comfortable with this, there's an amazing, and I'll share this in the group after, there's an amazing teleprompter app that's free on the App Store, right? You can plug in exactly what you want to say. I'm telling you, they would never know that you're reading, especially if you have some fake glasses on like me. And you can dive in and send those videos. And that is also something when we're thinking about demonstrating value and we're thinking about energizing relationships. You know, a lot of things that people do are pop buys or even phone calls. The thing about those, while so incredibly relational, they take a lot of time. And ultimately, if you end up on the phone with somebody for an hour and a half, 2 hours, that may throw off the whole entire rhythm of your day, and you're not able to strategically plan how you're going to add value and energize these relationships. With a video, if I have 10 minutes in between a call or two, I could shoot off 2 or 3 videos to those important relationships that I know I need to stay in touch with, and find a reason to love on them, potentially connect them with somebody as well. So great connection tool, whether you're recommending people, connecting people or not, just reaching out via video, would highly encourage that. Next piece here of Energize is ask the extra question. Here's what this means. Asking the extra question is if you're on the phone with a potential client or a potential referral partner and they say, sorry, there's some noise in the background, my kids are home from school today. Most of us just go, no worries, I can hear you, right? But asking the extra question is no worries, how old are your kids? What are their names? What school do they go to, right? We're sometimes so caught up in the busyness of the transaction that we forget to ask the extra question. And this is more of a habit than anything that I know we are all able to do and we think of, but it's really helpful to have that reminder. Whenever I'm working from a coffee shop or I see someone else working from a coffee shop, yes, does that signal to me they like coffee and maybe they'd like a Starbucks gift card down the road? Sure. But how much more meaningful would it be that the next time you show up with coffee for them in their office or the next time you show up with a gift card, it's from that local coffee shop that they frequent, or you even know their drink order without asking because you just asked the extra question in conversation. Spouses' names, all the things. I know this is probably a lot of information that you guys are privy to, being that real estate is such a relational business. But I always bring up Harvey Mackay, great business leader, relational leader, used to know 66 things about his customers. Harvey Mackay's 66. I truly don't even know if I know 66 things about the coworkers I work with and talk to every single day, right? So if we need a system to be able to mine for that information a little bit well or a little bit better, then we need to make sure this is built into our daily rhythms a little bit more. All right, last piece here today, before Tina, we dive into some questions and anything in the chat that we want to go over, or any questions that you have that you think would be beneficial to speak to. Of course, a great way to energize relationships is to give gifts. And here's why. Giving gifts is the only way that you can energize relationships at scale. We do this as a team. The way that gifting works with us is you hand us a list of your key relationships. Maybe that's key referral partners in your network, community connectors, past clients, and we're actually creating one moment of massive impact on your behalf by sending out that gift at scale. So this really is the one way that you're showing up in people's homes, without actually having to be there. And you can be, we joke, you can be everywhere all at once because that's how the gift lands. If you guys are not familiar with Giftology's gifting philosophy. That's something I really want to get into about the specific gift itself, because it's something that really sets us apart. But ultimately, let me just drive home the idea of why you should think about giving gifts rather than maybe giving your time. And this is how you build forever relationships that scale. Time givers focus on proximity. New relationships get the best energy, out of sight, out of mind, out of touch. I met with this person this month, but I forgot them a year later, and they could have been a really good relationship, right? If we don't have the systems to keep up with them, those relationships slip through the cracks. If you're giving the time, it also creeps into your personal time. And I'm sure everyone here can relate to that, juggling a business and family and being a mom and all the things. Then that relational activity just is the least I can do. How can I check the box? When it comes to the predictability as well, a lot of people end up just showing up on anniversaries, birthdays, and Christmas because it's something they can trigger. It's something they can systematize. But these types of transactional moments doesn't create this advocate level of loyalty that we want out of our network. So when you are giving gifts, here's what happens. You're able to leverage yourself and be, like I said, 100 places at once with minimal travel. You are creating such incredible impact. You are also being looked at as a legendary relationship in their world. You're building extremely strong advocacy amongst your VIP's inner circle. And this one's funny, lopsided. That ultimately, over time, you are going to have preferential treatment to certain relationships, and that's okay. A key part of our system is to actually prioritize the relationships that you want to invest in so that you have more to give to some and less to others, without spreading yourself so thin. So that's a little spiel for you guys on why I think it's important to give gifts rather than maybe your time all the time to relationships, because it does have that scalability. But here's our gifting philosophy. If you guys have not yet dove into giftology and our book and podcasts and all the things, we believe that you always need to be gifting the recipient. It's always about what they want, not what you would want. We run into this a lot of the times when people gift alcohol or people gift golf or all these things, right? This is not something that we can make a decision on, but ultimately it needs to fit the family and the lifestyle and the people that we're gifting. Personalization, all of our gifts come engraved or embroidered with the family's name. So personalization and inner circle down there in the left go hand in hand, because we truly do believe when you take care of the family, everything else takes care of itself. So every single gift that we engrave is typically handcrafted exclusively for the Smith family. And now we're including, if they have kids, if maybe you're only dealing with one of the spouses, you're embedding the other spouse as well, especially from a referral partner capacity. This can be huge. Our other key gifting tenet is to always gift practical luxuries. This means that we're not doing the logoed trinkets or mugs or things like that, because ultimately, while that plays a role in your marketing mix, that's an advertisement, not a method of appreciation. So we want to make sure these things are not engraved with your logo, they're engraved with the family's last name, and that they're practical and can be used on a daily basis so that they think of you each and every day they use it. And then those last two pieces over there on the right, timing is so important. I already mentioned ABC gifting. That's not where we specialize. We want to surprise and delight and show up on a random Tuesday for somebody, and just make their day. And another way that we do that is every single gift that we send comes with a handwritten note. And yes, it's actually handwritten. I know there's a lot of businesses and services out there that allow real estate agents specifically even to write handwritten notes at scale. A lot of them, though, are not actually handwritten. They're printed in a handwritten font. Ours are actually handwritten. And it's just something that I don't shut up about, because I think that's pretty cool. And it really does look like it's coming from you. We're just your your ghost gifter. So if you are thinking about developing a gifting strategy and investing into some of these relationships so we can energize them to refer, here's what I would encourage you. Not to think wide. We don't want to stretch our budget to reach as many people as possible. We want to go deep, intentionally investing in fewer people to create impact and measurable outcomes. I sent this lovely woman on the screen here. She posted on Instagram actually at the beginning of this year that she wanted to spend more intentional time with the Lord. She's a very faithful woman. And she wanted to do that by baking bread more often, with worship music on and all the things for her family. So I actually ended up sending her a bread knife engraved with scripture, and also a cast iron Dutch oven that had her last name on the bottom. And this was her reaction. I have a video for you guys. Let's see if the volume plays. I hope it does.
I can't hear it.
Oh, dang. Well, she was just going crazy about the gift. So I wish you guys could. But she was just saying that she can see this gift being used for years to come, being passed down for years to come. And those are the types of relational investments that matter. If we are going to spend money on gifting, we want it to be meaningful and be something that they use and can pass down each and every day. Just 2 examples I threw up on the screen here. We also have a gifting cart that actually allows real estate agents like yourself to come in and send gifts on your behalf with a handwritten note, engraving, all that good stuff, which could be a really useful tool that I'd be more than happy to speak to anybody about. But here's just some of our gifts. I mean, we've gifted for Sarah Blakely. We've gifted for Tim Tebow. We've gifted for some pretty amazing individuals. And a lot of the times it's because we're landing in the heart of the home here. So I'll pull up this last screen, Tina, for us to just start diving into some questions. And then I do have an offer available to dive and take a next step should that see fit. But I would love everybody to think about their 2026 and all that they're doing traditionally to dive into their marketing and sales. Maybe you've been thinking a little bit more of investing in some sort of lead generation tool, maybe paid advertisements. How are you going to sponsor a local community group? What campaigns are you doing? What KPIs are you tracking, right? All of these things we spend so much time, energy, and effort in on the traditional marketing and sales time side. But when we think about relationships, these are usually the 3 bullets it boils down to. I do it innately because you're a good relationship builder, and that's awesome. But we all let relationships fall through the cracks without systems. I do it myself. Maybe you have a team, but you've held relationships close to you because they're yours, which is true. But there's so much value in creating operations around how you take care of your relationships so that your team can take off some of this load as well. And then I just always throw in that last bullet because I think it's funny. We all have the automated birthday cards or the automated text messages or what have you, right? But when we're really looking to move the needle and build relationships that refer, we need to do more than that. We need a relationship operating system. And that's what we do here at Giftology. So Tina, I think I made it to the 45-minute mark. I hope that was useful for everybody, but more than happy to dive into some questions or go into more detail about exactly how this comes to life for the real estate professionals that we serve.
Amazing. This was really, really great. There were so many golden nuggets in here. And actually, I have a relationship-based business. And yet, like, I'm a serial learner. I've been an agent for over 9 years, and I learned so much new information today of just how to, like, I am one of those people. I'll be honest. Past clients have been the ones that I'm honoring and, spoiling essentially. But this was so great because you talked about different industry, and I'm really big on niching down. And so if somebody wants to be luxury and they want to step into that, using the golf manager's example was so gold. Like if anybody chimed in late and they missed that section, you are going to have a replay of this, but really thinking about who are your shoulder industry referral partners that can help you grow your business. That was just like so good. So we do have some questions here.
Yeah.
So I do want to ask you more about giftology. And so some of these questions will be along those lines as well. So how do you, Christy, thank you for chiming in. She was commenting and loving things along the way. She actually did say she does send video. So that is awesome.
Okay, awesome.
How do you set a budget for gifting when with the client from beginning to end, even after the sale? And she also put, especially for newer agents.
Such a great question. Yes, the budget question always pops up. So Christy, I'm so glad you asked that. There's a couple different ways we can look at this. One way that we do encourage people is to think about the net profit from that sale or from that relationship and set a percentage for yourself that you feel comfortable reinvesting back into that relationship. So for easy math, if you took home from this transaction or have the potential maybe to take home from this transaction $10,000, right? Maybe you're investing then 5% back in to that relationship. And that would then give you a budget to use, I would probably say, over the course of a year. So you don't need to go out and spend a, $500 gift in one shot, but maybe you're giving them $150 something here, and then a $200 something here, and then $150 something down the road. So that's a good way to think about ultimately what money do you already have and feel comfortable, especially as a newer agent coming into the pipeline, and what percentage are you willing to reinvest? That's really easy math when it comes to people that are closing, right? Clients that end up actually closing and you're getting value out of them. But I would also set aside some money for those referral partners who may need to be energized a little bit first before they actually end up referring you, right? So set a marketing budget in this realm that you feel comfortable with. Maybe it's about transitioning some dollars you were going to spend in paid leads, right? And you're saying, hey, I'm going to get away from that marketing hamster wheel a little bit and invest in a few people who I know can open doors for me. So yeah, that percentage way, and then the overall just belief in relationships, I think is a good way to budget things out.
That's so great. I love that. And I also really want to encourage you to not be looking for the outcome. I'm sure this book that, I did write it down here just in case anybody was curious about the book that she recommended. It is Give and Take by Adam Grant. Yep. And I read The Go-Giver, and maybe these have similarities, but don't be waiting for the outcome, and think about, just giving from your actual heart. You never know when somebody could refer you. So I'm in Hawaii. I work with military clients, and I spoil my clients. And there was this one client that I spoiled for the whole 3-4 years that they were here. They never sent any referrals, but then at their next duty station, they actually went to a school for a little bit, and they sent 3 referrals, 3 at once. But that was after they were already gone. So staying in touch and staying consistent, and really just staying top of mind. So Christy also asked a question. So she wants to consider giving clients a consistent experience and sustainability too. Mm-hmm. So how would she go about that when, y'all talk about being more personalized?
Yeah, absolutely. There definitely is this balance between personalization and also standardization that we all want to achieve in our business. And ultimately, where our gifting sweet spot does lie is that how we're personalizing the gift and showing up for this relationship is the way that we're engraving the gift and the handwritten note involved. Most of the time, Tina and Christy, who asked, we are actually sending the same gift to all 50 of this person's relationships that we're serving, right? But they're all showing up personalized, individualized because they are engraved to them. They're all getting the same cast iron skillet, but it's engraved to them and the handwritten note is addressed to them. And that creates that one-on-one personal experience. So from a scalability perspective, that's what I mean when gifting is truly the only way you can scale some of this personal touch, because we can do things like that. But I would highly encourage also creating some sort of gifting operation in your business. And a lot of times we see this come to life for real estate agents in either the onboarding process. So they already have a few things that they have to do in onboarding a client. How can I add in a gift to that? I can always order the same gift, right? It can always be the same. And that way I know they received this because they were a part of the onboarding. And then also closing is another time that we see that standardization. How we roll is not gifting at the time of the transaction. And that's where our resources of like the gifting cart, for example, come in, because you're going to place the order with us actually probably when you're at the closing table, the day after you're at the closing table. That gift's not going to land to them until, 2, 3, 4 weeks out, which separates you from the transaction, but allows you to still create some standardization around like, okay, after a deal closes, I'm going to send a gift. Here's what I send. And that's being sent off.
That is so great. And actually, one of agents' biggest referral opportunities for real estate agents is agent to agent referrals. So my takeaway here is I like to have processes in place for when I get an agent to agent referral. So now I'm going to go on your website and I'm going to find something. So when somebody sends me a referral for one, and then when I close the referral, because that's just going to keep encouraging that positive, this is my go-to agent in such location. So this could also be, if anybody wants to work on their agent to agent referral network for 2026. So what would be your advice? Because I do want to go back to her question about newer agent, but let's say like a newer agent and then an experienced agent. What are you seeing the most for the real estate industry? Like how much because the newer agent, should they be doing it maybe like quarterly? Should they do it twice a year, something like that? And what are the gift ranges of gifts that you have? Are they from $10 to $500 gifts?
Yeah.
And then for a top producer who maybe wants to send something monthly, my next question isn't about the pricing, but how many items do you have on your website?
Yeah, great. All great questions. I'll back us up one step, because what I truly believe for a new agent that's just getting started, the most important thing you can do is build your list of key relationships you want to invest in and be consistent with investing in them. That does not have to cost you any money. It can cost you 75 cents of postage by sending a handwritten note. Ultimately, those are still the small demonstrations of value that are going to energize relationships in your favor. But step one is really building a list and feeling good about these are the relationships, whether I'm investing my time or my money into them. These are the relationships I'm going to invest in, and I'm going to stick with this, right, for till the summer, whatever that looks like for that new agent. So always build a list. Now, something you brought up for the more experienced agent or even the new agent, I think this can fit with. We actually don't recommend gifting more than 2 to 3 times per year to one relationship, right? If ultimately, now we've done some crazy things for some crazy people sometimes where we have like every single month built them a whole knife set of 12 knives by the end of the year, right? And that's absolutely things we do for our clients because we just love that kind of stuff. But our key recommendation is ultimately, if you are going to choose those key relationships you want to invest in, we're going to then strategically plan a couple of touch points that we can take off of your plate. That doesn't then, release you from potentially giving them a call or sending them a video, but that these things are happening. God forbid, nothing relational happens in your court. We have those 2 to 3 gifting touch points planned every year. What that looks like from a budget perspective, most of our gifts that we are going to serve our clients with are going to be in that $100 to $500 range. So when you are looking at budget, we do want you to think about, hey, if I'm going to gift 2 gifts a year, right? Like how much money am I ultimately going to invest into this person and feel comfortable with? That website of gifts, quote unquote, that cart, oh my gosh, like so much more where that comes from. We do work with a specific group of vendor partners, though, that always deliver with excellence, engraving, handwritten notes, all the things. So we're able to serve you guys in that way. And really, we say just be your ghost gifter. We want the gift to show up perfectly like it was sent by you, and you just receive all the thank yous and we do all the work. So 2 to 3 times per year is a max. Then we're looking at, that $100 to $500 range to really get the impact that we want. And that's why we'd rather go deep. We'd rather spend 100 on 10 relationships than $10 on 100 relationships.
No, that's really great. And speaking of budgeting, somebody actually brought up something price oriented. They said, what's the best way to do this as a tax write-off? In Texas, gifts are limited to $25 a person on contract.
Oh, interesting. There's so many different regulations. I don't see it as much in the real estate industry as I do in like the financial advising industry and things like that. But it sounds like maybe in Texas, it's just in general, $25 is a little bit of a limit, or at least for a tax write-off perspective. One way that we do have clients work with us, and this is actually the offer that I have for you guys and that I have always had in the community here. As much as I said in the beginning, right, we love to do these gifts. We are a relationship strategy company. And with that, we have a lot of tools and systems and operations that allow you to understand how to invest in your relationships well, how to create referral partnerships well. So all of that, we see a lot of businesses that we work with write it off in a training and education budget. You can also, whoever is asking that question, if events are guided differently into that regard, we have a lot of people that tie in gifting to their events, not at the event. We actually recommend either sending a gift right before or after an event, so it lands still at their home. But that could be a different way of thinking about things as well.
That's a really great way to put that. Of course, we always want to advise that you check with your state rules, brokerage rules, et cetera, et cetera. Checking in with marketing as well. So I do want to go ahead and do the giveaway now. I think that does wrap up all the questions that I did answer there. Well, actually, before we do the giveaway, do you mind telling us about the ways that we can, 1, contact you, 2, work with you? What is the best method for anybody to do that?
Yes, absolutely. If anyone has any questions for me after this, just wants to chat through things, I'm always available. I'll definitely pop into the community after this as well. I will go ahead and pull up a slide here that may provide some color for a next step for those who are watching us. I don't know if you guys can see that slide right now.
Not yet.
Okay. I'll just talk about it here. What I have been speaking of this whole time is ultimately we don't want to just provide gifting for you. We want to give you a relationship operating system that can help you systemize this throughout your whole business. So the offer that is always available, exclusive to you guys and Moms in Real Estate, is our core training. We have a training program called Referral Partner Transformation that walks you through building a list, having a referral partner playbook, and then also a ton of resources there. That's usually $2,600, but for y'all, we have it at $1,000 flat. So, you can take that course, dive into the training, and on your way have all of our systems. But for this masterclass specifically, we're actually opening up our guided done with you offer for anybody watching to just pay $185 a month. You're going to get everything in that left side. So you're still going to get all of the core training. But this is where the fun gifting stuff comes in. So if you want access to that cart to be able to send some gifts, we're coming up on the end of the year and you want to get that out, We also have a 4 live call Kickstarter to get you started starting in January. All that, I'll post this somewhere or post a link to these offers as well, Tina. But we do have this $185 a month offer, which shakes out to about $2,200 for the year if someone wants to really lock arms with us and work with us in a strategic capacity.
Excellent, excellent. So to clarify, if anybody wants to be a part of Giftology, they need to do one of these 2 offers.
Yes, that would be the best place to start, truly. Unless you are, someone, Tina, absolutely so sold on this gung-ho gifting thing, and you're like, I just want to give you a whole list of names and let me send a whole bunch of gifts. We can be your Santa. And that is something, just reach out to me in the comments, what have you, and I'll be sure to respond and get you on a call, and we can get you all set up this way. But these are the 2 offers that we found are best for our real estate members and specific to the Moms in Real Estate group.
All right, everyone. So you heard the 2 amazing ways to get in touch with Sarah and work with her on a closer proximity. She is in our Facebook group, and so we'll be reposting the masterclass so you can rewatch it, take all the notes, and really soak in all this great information. And Sarah is active in the community, so just send her a DM, comment to her, get her attention, and plan for your most successful year yet. Start building your list, but don't do it alone. You don't have to do this alone. They're going to help you figure out how to build your list. They're going to have monthly classes. This is going to be a potential new pillar for your business. And this is not something that you want to sleep on, because if you really go back to the beginning of her presentation, you may be thinking of a budget to start investing in ads or lead generation or anything like that, when really, if you put that towards relationships, the stats that she gave at the beginning of this told you that relationships are going to convert a lot better, and you're going to have that warm introduction versus just calling somebody. So when you're doing your business planning and you're really laying out what you want for 2026, just go back to the beginning of this video and listen to the stats that she provided. All right, so I'm gonna let the raffle wheel go for 2 amazing blankets from our amazing vendor partner, Sackcloth and Ashes. There's 2 blankets. This is everybody here. All right, go ahead and hit the spin. Let's do it. All right. Melinda Villarreal, are you here? I believe I did see your name in the comments. So we do have another blanket as well.
I hope Melinda lives in a cold place so she can enjoy that blanket.
I live in Hawaii and I would still love a blanket. All right. And Felix was at the top making comments right away from the get-go. All right. Congratulations, Felix. Thank you, everybody, so much for your time and attention this morning on Sarah. And I really hope that y'all take some deep consideration. We're in November, so as your 2026 planning, I hope y'all take some deep consideration for how Giftology can play a key role in your business to help you work smarter and not harder, and probably even save a lot of money. So thank you so much for your time, Sarah. Everybody have a beautiful day.
Thank you, Tina. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.